consistently. So I'm having a couple challenges inside. Good morning, Regina. Inside of the apps, just changing my algorithm, but it normally takes about a week for me to get everything changed over. But that's the good news. Okay, so what we're going to do is talk about the contrast effect. This is the last bias of the confirmation bias. And what it is you tend to, it sneaks up on you. So it's a cognitive bias where the comparison of two things influence your perception of both. So the comparison of two things influences your perception of both. And here are some signs, and then I'll give you some examples. So other signs of contrast effect include comparing one person to another. So you are comparing one person to another. And we know that I've said when we were on TikTok Lives and now here that when I ask you a poll question, it's always only going to be about you versus you. It will never be about you in comparison to anybody else, because personal accountability is a personal choice. And how will you be able to get to know yourself personally if you keep comparing yourself to everybody else? That's not something that's going to bode well for you, and it's not going to lead you to becoming your best. Another instance or example of it is failing to focus on objective criterion when making decisions. And that's how we got to all of this, is because I started researching, well, why do people make bad decisions? So you're not being objective when you're making decisions. As we know, one of the 74 principles of real leadership is to be objective. And in being objective, you make all of your decisions based upon facts. That's how you make any decision. And if you find yourself not in your frontal lobe, you have brain fog, you have a hijacked amygdala, you do what they tell us to do in 12-step programs, you sit on your hands. You definitely don't make decisions with halt and now it's shout. Sleepy, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, don't make a decision, because in those 5 mental states, you are going to make an emotional, irrational decision that you will regret at some point in the future. So when it's time to make a decision, be objective. And if someone is attempting to throw you off your square, as we used to say back in the day, my answer is no. No is a complete sentence. It doesn't need any explanations. No. Can you? No. Will you? No. Can we? No. And if they ask why, no is a complete sentence, because I said no. That's it. Because when someone is trying to talk you into something that benefits them and not you, they want more information from you. Well, no, I don't have time. Well, when do you have time? No, I don't feel like it. Well, what is it going to take for you to feel like it? No, that's going to be a financial strain. Well, when is the next time you're going to have money? So you don't give them no with an explanation. You tell them no and let them figure it out. How many times have you been talked into something because you initially said no, and then you gave them more information that was then used against you in order for that person to get from you whatever it was that they wanted? So the answer is no. It's a complete sentence, no, boom, period at the end, and you keep it moving. That's how that goes. Okay, and then the final one is not considering the context of your evaluations. And so I have this process. It's called play the movie out. So play the entire movie out. You say yes, you make a decision, play that whole movie out. Don't do the trailer version, the entire movie out. When you make this decision, how is that going to end all the way until the end, the credits roll? What is that going to look like? And when you do that and you evaluate it in its totality, you will find that perhaps this might not be the best decision. And I always say go old school, draw a line down the piece of paper, get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, pros on the left, cons on the right. Cons on the left, pros on the right, because that's what's going to make you make the right decision. And if you can deal with the cons, go ahead and make the decision. If you can't, then the answer is no. And do that. Well, Dr. Don, I don't have time. The world is moving. It's constantly changing. Okay, but how much more time is it going to take you to recover from that poor choice versus sitting down 10, 15, 20 minutes and sleeping on it? How much time is it? You made a snap decision, knee-jerk response, reaction, and next thing you know, you married and you got 3 kids. And you sit here like, ooh, how did I should have, man, had September 11th never happened, I would not be married and my daughter would not be here because I got married on September 17th. If that hadn't happened, I would have waited until May and would have gotten more information and would have never gotten married. Now, do I love my daughter? Absolutely. And definitely, it was a decision that changed the trajectory of my life. But again, September 11th happened. I had just gotten out of the military. I was like, oh my God, the world is ended. I got heard him get married. We got, dude, I can't wait. And September 17th, 2001, I was at the Orlando courthouse downtown getting married. Yes, play that whole movie